Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by, and welcome to the Nio Inc First Quarter 2023 Earnings Conference Call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. Today's conference call is being recorded. I would now like to hand the conference over to your host, Ms. Eve Tang from Capital Market. Please go ahead.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Nio's First Quarter 2023 Earnings Conference Call. The company's financial and operating results were published in the press release earlier today and are posted at the company's IR website. On today's call, we have Mr. William Li, Founder, Chairman of the Board, and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Stephen Feng, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Stanley Qu, Senior VP of Finance, and Ms. Jade Wei, VP of Capital Markets. Before we continue, please be kindly reminded that today's discussion will contain forward-looking statements made under the Safe Harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties. As such, the company's actual results may be materially different from the views expressed today. Further information regarding risks and uncertainties is included in certain filings of the company with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the Stock Exchange of Hong Kong Limited, and the Singapore Exchange Securities Trading Limited. The company does not assume any obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required under applicable law. Please also note that Nio's earnings press release and this conference call include discussions of unaudited GAAP financial information as well as unaudited non-GAAP financial measures. Please refer to Nio's press release, which contains a reconciliation of the unaudited non-GAAP measures to comparable GAAP measures. With that, I will now turn the call over to our CEO, Mr. William Li. William, please go ahead.
大家好，非常感谢各位参加未来2023年第一季度业绩沟通会议。
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Nio's 2023 first quarter earnings call.
2023年第一季度，未来共计交付31041辆高端智能电动汽车，同比增长 20.5%。
In the first quarter of 2023, Nio delivered a total of 31,041 smart electric vehicles, up 20.5% year-over-year.
2023年4月和2023年5月，未来分别交付了6658辆和6155辆新车。我们预计2023年第二季度的总交付量为23000到25000辆。
In April and May, Nio delivered 6,658 and 6,155 vehicles respectively. We expect the total deliveries in the second quarter of this year to be between 23,000 and 25,000 units.
随着包括全新 ES6 在内的多款新车产能爬坡，我们对交付量的持续增长充满信心。
As we ramp up the production of the all-new ES6 and other new models, we're confident in continuously driving up our delivery volume.
接下来我跟大家交流一下产品研发和运营方面的进展。
Next, I would like to share with you the recent highlights of our products, R&D and operations.
5月24日，全新换代的智能电动全能 SUV ES6 正式上市，并于次日开启用户交付。ES6 的产品品质获得了首批交付用户的广泛好评。
On May 24, we launched the all-new ES6, an all-round mid-size smart electric SUV, and started its delivery the next day. The product quality of the all-new ES6 has been widely acclaimed by the first batch of users.
5月，2023款 ET7 和智能电动旗舰轿跑 SUV EC7 开始面向用户进行规模交付。2023款 ET7 带来超过15项产品更新和升级，继续引领高端智能电动中大型轿车的变革方向。EC7 作为未来旗舰轿跑 SUV 车型，传承了未来高性能的基因，拥有极致的驾控表现。
In May, we also started the user delivery of the 2023 Nio ET7 and the flagship coupe SUV EC7, coming with more than 15 new features and enhancements. The 2023 Nio ET7 continues to lead the change in the premium smart electric mid-large sedan market. As a flagship coupe SUV, EC7 inherits Nio's high-performance DNA and boasts ultimate riding and handling experience.
未来的产品质量和安全性受到了权威机构的认可。4月24日 ，ET5 在获得中国保险汽车安全指数安全性全优评级。6月1日，在 JD Power 发布的2023中国新能源车新车质量研究报告中 ，ES6 连续4年获得豪华纯电汽车市场第1名。同时，在 JD Power 2023中国新能源汽车魅力指数研究中 ，ET7 在豪华纯电汽车市场排名第1。
Nio's product quality and safety are also recognized by authoritative institutions. On April 24, Nio ET5 was rated good, the highest safety level by China Insurance Automobile Safety Index, or CIASI. In JD Power's 2023 China New Energy Vehicle Initial Quality Study released on June 1st, Nio ES6 won first place in the premium BEV segment for the fourth consecutive year. Also in JD Power's 2023 NEV Appeal Study, which evaluates new energy vehicles' performance, execution, and layout, Nio ET7 ranked number 1 among premium BEVs.
6月15日，我们计划发布 ET5 Touring， 并于当月开启交付。作为全球首款智能电动旅行车，我们相信 ET5 Touring 可以满足个人及家庭用户的多样使用场景，大大提升我们在高端家庭用车市场的竞争力。
We plan to launch the Nio ET5 Touring on June 15 and start the delivery in the same month. As the world's first smart electric tour, the ET5 Touring is designed to cover diversified scenarios for both individual and family users, significantly improving our competitiveness in the premium family vehicle market.
此外，未来旗舰 SUV 车型全新 ES8 也将于近期开启交付。全新升级的中型轿跑 SUV EC6 计划于3季度发布和交付。随着新车型切换工作的顺利推进，未来基于 NT2 平台的8款产品将组合发力，满足高端智能电动汽车市场的多元化需求，为用户提供超越期待的体验。
Besides Nio's flagship SUV, the all-new ES8 will also commence delivery in the Nio 10. The new EC6, our second-generation mid-size smart coupe SUV, will be launched and delivered in the third quarter. As we proceed with the product platform transition, Nio's complete NT 2.0 lineup, featuring 8 different products, will form a combined force to better cater to the diverse needs in the premium smart EV market and provide users with more experiences beyond expectations.
6月，未来智能系统班样也将升级到 2.0 版本，此次升级将带来超过120项功能新增和体验优化，通过打通未来产品、服务与社区，带来全行业独一无二的智能用车体验。特别强调的是，班样 2.0 新增了家电路线自动规划功能，基于未来能源云和充换电基础设施的强大体系能力，可以帮助用户一键完成长途旅行的充换电路径规划。
In June, Nio's smart system Banyan will be upgraded to version 2.0. This release includes over 120 new features and enhancements. By connecting Nio's products, services, and the community in a more seamless way, Banyan 2.0 will deliver a one-of-a-kind digital experience. It's particularly worth mentioning that Banyan 2.0 provides a new feature that is automatic planning of charging and swapping routes. Enabled by Nio Power Cloud and the comprehensive power infrastructure, it can let users plan for charging and swapping along the navigation route for long-distance trips with just one tap.
智能驾驶方面， 是未来向 NT2 用户全量推送了增强领航辅助 NOP Plus Beta 以来， NOP Plus Beta 基于全站自研的智能驾驶技术和数据闭环，在安心感、舒适性、通行效率等维度都有明显提升。随着班扬 2.0 的推送， NOP Plus 在感知层面应用自研 BEV 模型和占用网络技术，规控层面应用基于全量规模数据的大模型技术， NOP Plus 的体验优势将进一步扩大。同时，高速领航换电也已进入大规模测试阶段，将会在第3季度首批开通40座高速换电站，并逐步覆盖更多站点，实现高速场景不间断的点到点领航辅助。
In terms of intelligent driving, Nio has released Navigate Unparalleled Plus Beta or NOP Plus Beta to all NT 2.0 users. Based on in-house developed Nio intelligent driving technologies and closed-loop data management, NOP Plus Beta has made significant improvements in making users' journeys more reassuring, comfortable, and efficient. In Banyan 2.0, NOP Plus will be using Nio's proprietary BEV model and occupancy network for perception, and the large language model trained with a large-scale data sets for planning and control. The experience of NOP Plus will be further enhanced. In the meantime, we have started to test our power swap palette for highway at scale, and will make it available for 40 power swap stations on highways starting from the third quarter this year. This feature will be gradually rolled out to more power swap stations with which users can enjoy more seamless navigate on palette experience from point A to point B on highway. 交这个服务网络方面，我们现有365家未来中心和未来空间，覆盖136个城市，拥有359家服务中心和交付中心，覆盖196个城市。With respect to the sales and service network, Banyan has 365 new houses and new spaces in 136 cities, and 359 new service centers and new delivery centers in 196 cities.
充换电网络方面，4月13日，未来首批第3代换电站上线。第3代换电站采用3公位协同换电，相较于第2代站，速度更快，服务能力更强，体验更智能。截至目前，我们全球已经累计布局1474座换电站，其中有119座3代站，累计为用户提供超过2300万次换电服务。我们也已经累计部署超过7000根超充桩和8800根目的地充电桩。如此同时，我们的充电地图接入了第三方的充电桩超过110万根。
In terms of the charging and swapping network, on April 13, the first batch of Nio Power Swap Station 3.0 started operation. The Power Swap Station 3.0 features the synchronization of 3 operating positions, making it faster than the previous generation with higher service capacity and more intelligent experiences. So far, Nio has installed 1,474 swap stations worldwide, including 119 third-generation power swap stations, and has completed over 23 million swaps for users. Nio has also installed 7,000 power chargers and 8,800 destination chargers. Besides, our power map has also been connected to over 1.1 million third-party chargers globally.
4月17日，未来首批500千瓦的超快充站上线。未来500千瓦超快充桩与第3代换电站组成的新一代充换一体站，通过站桩高效协同、智能柔性分配功率，让超快充桩的性能发挥更加高效和稳定。
On April 17, Nio's first 500 kilowatt power chargers went online, completing the new generation of a power-up station, which is an integrated station featuring 500 kilowatt power chargers and the Power Swap Station 3.0. Through efficient coordination between chargers and the swap stations and flexible capacity distribution, the power chargers can operate more stably and efficiently.
4月22日，未来用户信托第4届理事会完成组建。此前的换届选举得到了全球社区用户的积极参与。用户信托会继续在社会公益、车主关怀、共同成长3个方面持续开展工作。
On April 22, the fourth Nio User Council was established. after the new user council member election, which was actively participated by new users worldwide. This year, new users' trust will continue their work centering on public welfare, user care, and common growth.
3月25日，未来携手世界自然基金会 WWF 宣布承诺加入科学碳目标倡议 SBTI， 并在未来2年内规划设定科学碳目标，推动可持续发展，践行 Blue Sky Economy 的理念。
On March 25th, further deepening of a partnership with Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, Nio announced to join the Science-Based Targets Initiative and plan to set a science-based target within the next 2 years, with the goal of contributing to global sustainable development and living up to the Blue Sky commitment.
面对不断变化的市场环境，我们将及时调整营销工作的重点，确保产品与服务的市场竞争力。2023年下半年，随着未来 NT2 平台车型全面进入高端纯电市场，2023千站计划逐步落地，未来围绕智能电动汽车核心全站技术的坚决投入带来的产品竞争力逐步体现，我们为参与下一阶段更为激烈的竞争做好了准备。
In the face of the changing market situation, we will timely adjust our sales and marketing priorities to ensure the market competitiveness of our products and services. In the second half of 2023, with the entire NT 2.0 product lineup entering the premium battery electric vehicle market and 1,000 new power swap stations put into operation, Nio's product competitiveness, powered by our decisive efforts into developing full-stack R&D capabilities and core technologies of smart EVs, will be gradually unleashed, which in turn can better prepare us for the increasingly intensifying competition at the next stage.
感谢大家的支持。现在 Steven 将为大家介绍2023年第一季度的财务业绩，有请 Steven。
As always, thank you for your support. With that, I will now turn the call over to Steven to provide the financial details for the first quarter. Over to you, Steven.
Thank you, William. I will now go over our key financial results for the first quarter of 2023. And to be mindful of the length of this call, I will reference to RMB only in my discussion today. I encourage listeners to refer to our earnings press release, which is posted online for additional details. Our total revenues in the first quarter were 10.7 billion RMB, representing an increase of 7.7% year-over-year and a decrease of 33.5% quarter-over-quarter. Our total revenues are made of 2 parts: vehicle sales and other sales. Vehicle sales in the first quarter were 9.2 billion RMB, representing a decrease of 0.2% year-over-year and a decrease of 37.5% quarter-over-quarter. The decrease in vehicle sales year-over-year was mainly due to lower average selling price as a result of higher proportion of 85 and 75 kWh standard range battery pack deliveries, partially offset by increase in delivery volume. The decrease in vehicle sales quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to a decrease in delivery volume and lower average selling price as a result of higher proportion of 85 and 75 kWh standard range battery pack deliveries. Other sales in the first quarter were 1.5 billion RMB, representing an increase of 117.8% year-over-year and increase of 11.3% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in other sales year-over-year was mainly due to the increase in sales of accessories, provision of repair and maintenance services, provision of auto financing services, sales of used cars, and the provision of power solutions as a result of continued growth of our users. The increase in other sales quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to the increase in provision of auto financing services, sales of accessories, provision of repair and maintenance services, provision of power solutions, and sales of used cars. as a result of continued growth of our users, and partially offset by a decrease in revenue from rendering of research and development services. Gross margin in the first quarter of 2023 was 1.5%, compared with 14.6% in the first quarter of 2022 and 3.9% in the fourth quarter of 2022. The decrease in gross margin year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to decreased vehicle margin. More specifically, vehicle margin in the first quarter was 5.1%, compared with 18.1% in the first quarter of 2022 and 6.8% in the fourth quarter of 2022. The decrease in vehicle margin year-over-year was mainly attributed to changes in product mix and increased battery cost per unit. The decrease in vehicle margin quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to changes in product mix and increased promotion discount for the previous generation of ES8, ES6, and EC6, which were partially offset by the inventory provisions, accelerated depreciation on production facilities, and losses on purchase commitments for the previous generation of ES8, ES6, and EC6 in the fourth quarter of 2022. R&D expenses in the first quarter were 3.1 billion RMB, representing an increase of 74.6% year-over-year, a decrease of 22.7% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in research and development expenses year-over-year was mainly attributed to the increased personnel costs in research and development functions and increased share-based compensation expenses recognized in the first quarter of 2023. The decrease in research and development expenses quarter-over-quarter reflected fluctuations due to different design and development stages of new products and technologies. SG&A expenses in the first quarter were 2.4 billion RMB, representing an increase of 21.4% year-over-year and a decrease of 30.7% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in SG&A expenses year-over-year was primarily due to the increase in personnel costs related to sales and general corporate functions, and increase in expenses related to the company's sales and service network expansion. The decrease in SG&A expenses quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to a decrease in sales and marketing activities and professional services. Loss from operations in the first quarter was 5.1 billion RMB, representing an increase of 133.6% year-over-year, a decrease of 24.1% quarter-over-quarter. Net loss in the first quarter was 4.7 billion RMB, representing an increase of 165.9% year-over-year, and a decrease of 18.1% quarter-over-quarter. Net loss attributable to Nio's ordinary shareholders in the first quarter was 4.8 billion RMB, representing an increase of 163.2% year-over-year, and a decrease of 17.8% quarter-over-quarter. Our balance cash and cash equivalents, restricted cash, short-term investment, and long-term deposits was 37.8 billion RMB as of March 31st, 2023. Now, this concludes our prepared remarks. I will now turn the call over to the operator to facilitate our Q&A session.
Thank you. If you wish to ask a question, please press star one on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. If you wish to cancel your request, please press star two. If you're on a speakerphone, please pick up the handset to ask your question. For the benefit of all participants on today's call, please limit yourself to 2 questions. If you have got more questions, you can re-enter the queue. Your first question comes from Tim Hsiao from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
管理层你好，非常感谢接受我的提问。那我有2个问题，第一个问题是有关于 可能降本这一块啊，就是首先未来从2021年开始我们进入到一个比较快速扩张的一个阶段，所以我们看到车型、品牌、可能网络销售、研发都是加大投入。但刚才李斌总也提到，就是说有鉴于这个市场和经济形势都比较严峻，我们现在是否会考虑优化和精简目前的车型和整体营销的布局，然后将一些有限的资源可能聚焦在这个未来品牌能够走量的车型上面。那另外其他比如说像手机芯片研发投入是否会暂缓？那可能另外最后一个就是明年阿尔卑斯品牌的推出是否还会按先前的一个规划去进行。So my first question is about more like the cost control, because Nio has been investing more aggressively since 2021 on new models, sales marketing, and energy replenishment network. So in light of the challenging industry and the macro outlook, would Nio consider streamlining the model portfolio and cutting back on investment in some projects like smartphone, battery, chipset, and to refocus resource on a few flagship models? And separately, does Nio still stick to its original schedule to launch our mass market brand Alpha next year? So that's my first question. Thank you.
好，谢谢 Tim。确实最近的话呢，市场的变化也非常大，竞争呢也进一步加剧。那么从目前我们第二代平台的角度来讲呢，我们所有的这些车8款车的话呢，已经都这个研发完成啊，近期的话呢，都会全面推向市场。我们当前的主要的这个重点还是怎么样去有一个新的组织架构和一个新的一些营销的策略，能保证我们的每一款车都能够去 touch 到那个它的目标用户群体。因为从我们定义这些产品的时候，每一款车还是都有自己的定位的。那我们现在整个的营销团队如何能够同时卖好这8款车，这个不管是从这个展厅的布局，从线上的这种用户的触达，还是线下的我们的这些一线的这些销售的同事的一些精力的分配，那么确实是有一些新的挑战。那我们最近的话呢，已经做了不少的工作，能够既保证每一款车都有人去都能够从总部到区域都有人去负责，同时呢也保证我们的资源能够在一些重点的车型当然从一些上量的车型，我们的这个5566的这4款这个上量的车型包括我们的 ES8 这样的一些战略车型，那我们肯定在资源上会有些倾斜，但总的来说的话呢，我们现在聚焦还是怎么样保证这8款车都能够在它的目标市场能够有足够的份额。
Thank you, Tim, for your question. As you have mentioned, the market competition is intensifying, and we do face a lot of changes in the market dynamics. For the new technology platform 2.0, we are about to show the whole lineup of the 8 products based on the NT 2.0, and these 8 products will enter the market in the near term gradually. The current focus for us is to make sure we have the new organization structure to have a more targeted sales strategy and the marketing strategy for all the 8 products to reach its own target user groups. Because when we design those products, we do have a specific positioning of different products in their specific segment and target group. So the current challenge for us is to make sure our marketing and the sales team can be more dedicated on these 8 products in terms of our showroom layout and the product reach and the marketing reach and the distribution of the resources at the sales and marketing teams. We want to make sure for each product we have a dedicated team to take responsibilities in terms of its sales and marketing efforts. Of course, for those key products, we will put more resources to make sure we can reach much better sales performance. But just like I mentioned, the focus for us now is to make sure we can have a more dedicated resources for the 8 products separately, and to make sure they can achieve a good market share in terms of their specific segment.
总的来说，我们应对市场的变化肯定会更加的快速保证我们的这个产品和服务的竞争力。 另外的话呢，讲到这个研发有一些长期研发的项目，方向上来讲，我们肯定是还是会坚持的，因为我们认为虽然我们现在有些短期的压力但是长期的竞争力我们当然还是要去打造的那么当然有一些节奏方面，我们肯定会根据公司的资源和重点去进行一些调整。阿尔卑斯的这些推出，我们还是会按照我们这个原定的规划在明年下半年我们在合适的时候会交付这些产品。当然我们也会确保这个投入的这个周期就特别在市场端这个投入的这个时间呢，我们希望紧凑一些这样的话对于整个公司的效率会更好一些。这方面的话呢，肯定在节奏和效率方面，我们会进行这个更加这个细致的管理。
Yes, of course, we need to be more agile in terms of face the challenges of the changing market situation to ensure our competitiveness in terms of the products and the services. Regarding the topics of the R&D projects, overall speaking, we would like to insist on our big directions in terms of the R&D projects. In the short term, yes, we do have some pressures, but we think it is really important and necessary for us to focus on those R&D capability building to build our long-term competitiveness. But at the same time, based on our resources and the priorities of the company, we can adjust the pace of the investment for all those different R&D projects. For the question regarding Alpha's project, our timing for Alpha's brand is still the same. That is the second half of 2024, where we plan to launch the Alpha's products at that time, and we will choose the specific timings for those different products. However, at the same time, we want to make sure for the Alpha's products that we can have a much faster pace in terms of the go-to-market, because this can help us to improve the efficiency and have a much better planning of the resources, especially at the marketing and the sales front.
好，谢谢李斌总的回答，谢谢 ，Thank you。我第二个问题是有关于新款的 ES6，因为我们看到二季度交付指引23000到25000，可能较原先这个市场的预期来的高一些那我们自己推算可能隐含3到4千台的新款 ES6 的交付，所以也想是不是可以请问这个请管理层分享一下，我们目前 ES6从这个之前五月底正式上市，然后接单为到目前为止整体接单的一个情况，然后 ES6 当前爬产交付有没有任何这个障碍？那我们是否还是维持像之前提到这个5566这个月合计交付2万的一个目标，然后大约什么时候可以达到这样的一个这个合计的交付目标 ？So my second question is about the new ES6. The second quarter guidance came in stronger than market expectation, which could be trickle to like a 3,000 to 4,000 units of additional sales of the new ES6. So could you share a little bit more about the order intake of the new ES6 since it's launched today? And is there any bottleneck to the delivery of new ES6? In the meantime, are you still expecting the sales aggregate of ET5, ES6, and the upcoming ET5 Touring to achieve 20,000 per month? And when do you expect to achieve that volume target? So that's my second question. Thank you.
好，谢谢 Tim。ES6 确实市场的热度是非常高。那么我们这个目前的这个已经锁单的这些是达到了我们的预期的那我们整个的这种试驾后的这种转化率是非常高的，是我们所有车里面有史以来最高的这个试驾的转化率所以我们对它的表现是非常有信心。那么 ES6 当然在6月份的话呢，肯定还是一个爬产的过程。我们目前的目标呢是希望7月份能够实现这个生产和交付都能够达到1万辆这样的一个目标我们还是有信心去实现这个目标的是我们各方面的供应链制造这个质量各方面的同事都在全力以赴的做这个准备。那当然5566的话，这个从方向上来讲呢，我们肯定还是认为有机会去这个实现2万的这样一个目标。现在来看的话呢，挑战的话呢我们看确实主要的挑战还是 ET5 的挑战要大一些。 因为 ET5 它相对来说的话呢，和去年比，因为没有补贴的，去年因为毕竟还有12000块钱的补贴，那么我们最近呢也下调了一些，比如说这个充电桩啊，我们也这个也是要购买的。这事实上来讲的话呢，它的价格是和去年底的话，消费者的这个购买价格其实是差不多贵了小2万块。这个呢，我们这个是也要面对这样一个现实吧，就是那我们总的来说，我们也再看看，在这个整个方向上来讲的话，怎么能够有一些更加好的一些方式去扩大这个需求所以目前总的来说呢，在5566里边 ET5 的话呢，我们觉得确实挑战要大一些。那么我们马上15号会发这个 ET5 的 Touring， 那么它的目标用户群肯定会更大一些，因为它是一款非常适合家庭的用车，我们相信它的竞争力还是非常强的所以这4款车我们仍然认为它是有机会实现2万的这样一个目标。
Thank you, Tim. ES6 is very well received by the users and also received very good feedback in the media. We think the order performance has reached over expectations, and the test drive conversion rate of the ES6 actually reached a record high in the history of Nio. So that's why we're very confident in terms of the sales performance of ES6. At this stage, especially in June, we need to focus on the ramp up of the ES6 first. But for the target in July is we want to achieve 10,000 units in terms of the production and delivery. We're very confident to achieve this target in July, and the supply chain team, manufacturing team, and other teams are making all sorts of preparations to make sure we can achieve this objective. Regarding the ET5 Touring, and the ES6 overall volume, we believe that there is an opportunity for us to still achieve 20,000 units in 1 month. The big challenge for us right now is more about the ET5, because if we look at the ET5's pricing, we can see that last year we still have around 12,000 RMB subsidies for the users, and this is at the same time users can get the home chargers free of charge last year, but now users will need to pay for the home chargers for the ET5. So net speaking, probably for the ET5, if we make the apple-to-apple comparison, it's probably like 20,000 RMB more expensive this year. This is the fact and the challenge we need to face, but what we need to focus on is to make sure we can find a better way to expand the user needs and the demands. The challenge we are facing right now is about the ET5, but just like I mentioned, we're going to launch the ET5 Touring on June 15th. This is going to help us to improve our overall product competitiveness, because we believe the ET5 Touring can cater to the diversified needs of individuals and family users, and this can help us to boost our product competitiveness in this specific market segment.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, really.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Bin Wang from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I got 2 questions. Number 1 is about the margin outlook. When you reach the 10K per month for ES6 in the third quarter, so what's the gross margin expectation we can have for the third quarter and second half? That is number 1 question about gross margin guidance. 我的第一个问题想问问看这个毛利率的指引，当我们3季度 ES6 可以月销过万的时候，我们怎么想我们的3季度的毛利率对比现在的情况？谢谢。
Hi, Bing. This is Danny. Yeah, as William mentioned, with the delivery of our NT2 product with higher price from Q2 and Q3, the average selling price and gross profit margin per car will recover. So we are confident that the gross profit margin will start to recover to double digits in Q3 and over 15% in Q4. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, great. My second question about any further fundraising demands are needed because right now people worry about your net cash position, which declined quite fast. And so can you provide some update about your potential fundraising, especially when a Nio China IPO? 我第二个问题呢，想问问看我们的现金情况，因为现在看到公司的现金已经有所下降比较快，那么有没有一些新的融资需要在短期，以及呢就是未来中国的 IPO 在 A 股的一个进展？谢谢，这是我最后一个问题。
谢谢。那当然，我们今年因为 Q1、Q2 的交付呢，确实是比包括去年 Q4 少了一些啊，这个也影响一些运营的现金流。但我们相信，随着3季度的交付的回升呢，这个运营现金流肯定是会改善的。那我们目前的公司的现金是能支撑公司在可见的将来的这个业务发展的。当然，我们作为一家上市公司，我们当然也会非常小心的去管理我们这样的一些现金啊，我们的融资通道不管是美元的还是人民币的都是通畅的。我们有合适的这个需求的话，我们当然会跟市场去交流啊。当然今年的话，我们也采取了一些措施，比如说有一些固定资产的投资啊，我们已经往后去推迟啊，包括一些研发的一些项目啊，有一些项目我们也往后去做了一些这个推迟啊，包括我们市场的进入啊，全球市场的进入。那我们今年呢，在欧洲我们也会专注在这个已经进入的几个国家，所以总的来说，我们当然会很小心的去管理这些现金啊。那么从市场的角度来讲的话呢，如果有一些新的市场的一些计划，我们当然会跟大家交流。谢谢。
Thank you, Bing, for your question. Yes, for this year, if we look at the first quarter and the second quarter, because of the delivery performance, which is actually less than that of the fourth quarter last year, so this has affected our operating cash flow. But together with our delivery volume ramp up in the third quarter, we believe that operating cash flow will also improve. Currently, we believe our cash is sufficient to support the company's business development. As a publicly listed company, we make very prudent management of our cash positions, and at the same time, we do have all the different channels to do the fundraising in different markets. But this year, we have made some adjustment in terms of our cash spending. For example, we have delayed our CapEx investment, and we have also delayed some R&D projects. At the same time, in terms of our global market expansion, we believe it's more important for us to focus on the markets that we have already entered. For example, for those countries we have already entered in Europe. So if we have any kind of plans in the capital markets, we will, of course, let everyone know.
Thank you, Wang Bing.
谢谢。
Thank you. Your next question comes from Meng-Xun Lee from BofA. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, William and Stephen. So I also have 2 questions. My first question is, what is the battery price decline in first quarter, and how much does the battery price to help gross margin in first quarter? And also, could you also comment the second quarter and third quarter's battery price trend? That's my first question. Thank you.
Hi, Ming. Generally, the price of lithium carbonate decreased a little bit from Q1. So this leads to certain increase of our gross profit margin. Regarding amount-wise, I think the 2,500 per car. But recently, I think we can also see the lithium carbonate price also recover a little bit to 310,000 per ton. So the volatile change of lithium price will bring uncertainty to our gross profit margin. Yeah. Generally, that's generally the impact of lithium.
Thank you, Stanley. My questions is regarding your latest CapEx and operating expense guidance, because I think William just mentioned that you are starting to control some investment, especially for some long-term investment. But are you able to give some new guidance, if there's any? I remember last year the CapEx is around 10 billion RMB. Yeah, so I want to know your guidance for this year for CapEx and OpEx. Thank you.
Yes, Ming. Our CapEx will still concentrate on the construction of power source stations, charging network, cell service network, and also tooling and production facilities for our new models. We will well control the cadence of those investments. But at this moment, I don't think we can give the clear guidance of CapEx investment for this year. Yeah, we will make adjustments dynamically in line with the spending and also the status. Yeah.
And also any guidance on operating expense? Sorry.
Okay. Regarding operating expense, one is for the R&D expense. The upcoming years remains to be the crucial stage for our R&D and also mass production of our core technology as new models. So on average, in each quarter of 2023, the non-GAAP R&D expense will be kept at 3 to 3.5 billion per quarter. Yes, we will also manage the spending curve and also keep improving our system efficiency. And for SG&A expense, we can see a decline in Q1. The main reason is because the reduced marketing activities and also seasonality impact of Chinese New Year, along with more marketing events like auto show, road show, and also launch of new models. The SG&A total amount will increase from Q2, but the efficiency will be improved from Q3 since all NT2 products will be launched and more volume will be realized. Hi, Ming. That's the guidance for the OpEx of next quarters.
Yeah, thank you, Stanley. Thank you.
Thank you, Ming.
Hi, operator. Next question, please.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Yicheng Ding from HSBC. Please go ahead.
感谢管理层，我有2个问题啊。第一个是想问一下，就是刚才丁总有分享到 ET5 的这个价格，比去年还是要贵。喂，可以听见吗？
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
yeah,
please.
sorry. So 第一个是想请教一下，就是我们刚刚有讲到 ET5 的价格对消费者来有点贵，那我们ET5 还是一个比较跑量的这个车型，或者说之前承载了跑量的预期，那管理层会不会做一些潜在的这个 budget version， 就是低价的这个版本，然后通过减配和版本的这个调整，把这个价格调下来，然后获得更好的这个销量。然后第二个是想请教，刚才讲到这个研发节奏有调整，然后这个 OPEX 预算的这些调整，那想请教这个盈亏平衡的时点，就是按照 guidance 来讲，是否会推迟 ？So I got two questions. The first is, do we have plan to introduce any budget version of our existing model, especially the potential volume carrier ET5, by lower price and lower content to access more volume? And the second question, we talked about the dial down a little bit on OPEX burn. Generally, does that also affect or postpone our break-even point of the year?
谢谢。我们当然 确实看到现在整个市场的价格变动非常大，当然我们呢肯定不会用减配的方式去做这样的调整因为我们很多这样的一些方式都是这个标配的这样一些这个包括双电机包括我们 AD 方面的这样的一些传感器和这个算力等等这样的一些高价值的东西。我们认为这个对长期的用户价值是当然是非常有意义的。当然我们当然还有很多别的一些灵活的一些措施，我们也在考虑，比如说我们针对那些不需要换电传译的用户，我们有更好的一些方法当然我们还正在进行各方面的一些这个研究。那当然这个还是从用户的利益出发吧，从我们角度来讲的话，当然我们肯定也要考虑已经买了我们车的这样的一些用户的一些利益。那第二个问题就是盈亏平衡方面的话呢，我们当然从目前的情况来讲，我们的盈亏平衡的时间表肯定是往后要去推的这个是我们需要面对的一个情况当然我们还是希望从目前来看的话呢，我们希望这个推后的时间能够在1年以内吧，这个是目前我们的一个计划。
Thank you, Yuchen, for your question. We understand that there are many different kind of pricing movements in the market, but for us, regarding ET5, we don't think it's reasonable for us to have a budget version of the ET5, because our philosophy is that we believe the different configurations or the important configurations should come as a standard for all of our NT2 products. For example, the dual motors, AD suites, and other important functions and features. We believe those standard package philosophy can serve the long-term interest to our users. But at the same time, we do have some flexibilities in many other different approaches, for example, user rights, such as the free battery swapping. When we make those kind of considerations and adjustments, of course, the important thing is to make sure we can put the user's interest first. So when we decide to make those kind of adjustments, we also need to consider the interest of our install base. For the second question regarding the break-even point, according to the current situation, we do think probably we need to delay our break-even point to within 1 year, and we think this is probably a reasonable assumption.
Thank you, Yuchen.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Nick Lai from JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
李总跟关宇成大家好，我有2个简单的问题。第一个问题我还是想追问一下刚提到这个 cash burn 跟 capex 跟这个手上现金的问题，因为这个行业非常竞争的这个环境，我相信是可能大部分人在过去1年是没有预期到的。那这个行业竞争某种程度它是个 balance sheet competition。那我想刚有提到说我们把一些资本开支、研发支出的这个规划有做调整，往后推迟，这是好事。那我想追问一下，就2024年，因为2024年或2025年我们会推出另外2个品牌，然后渠道等等的建设。那我知道公司可能目前没有一个数字的指引，那可以跟我们分享我们应该怎么去评判，就是2024、25年我们的 capex 跟 cash burn是跟在23的基准上是往上往下还是持平，这是第一个问题。My first question is really following up the previous question regarding cash burn and capex cycle and so on. You just mentioned that you'll push back the R&D expense and so on, but I'm more curious about 24, 25 planning. How should we expect the capex or cash burn into 24 and 25? Would that be flat or up or down compared with 2023? Thank you.
对，当然这个现在确实整个的市场变化也非常动态，这个从我们来讲的话呢，怎么针对这个市场的动态的变化去降低公司的风险呢，保证经营的这个稳健性，肯定是我们很重要的一个目标。从目前来讲的话呢，我们比如说我们阿尔卑斯的这个推进的计划，我们当然还是按照我们的计划去推进我们现在的这个工厂的话呢是能够支持 Nio 和阿尔卑斯2个品牌的生产的，所以从这一点上来讲的话呢，我们在整个生产制造方面并不需要进行大的这个 capex 的投资。那么从市场端来讲的话呢，我们 换电站事实上也是这个从今年这个某一个时间起，我们部署的换电站也是可以支持2个 brand 的这样的一些共用的，所以这方面的话呢，我们其实总的来说也还 OK。那么当然，如果是阿尔卑斯去推向市场的话呢，在销售服务网络方面会有一些 CapEx 的投资也包括一些 OPEX 的投资，但我们前面其实也讲过了，我们会把这个时间压缩的尽可能紧凑一些。所以总的来说的话呢，我们认为对一个这个变动非常快的一个市场，我们整个公司已经做好了这样一个敏捷反应的这样一个各方面的准备当然这个从现金管理方面来讲的话呢，我们肯定会更小心的去管理这个现金我们也保持各个融资通道的这个畅通大家也知道，我们其实现在从一个资本市场对接的角度来讲的话，不管是美元还是人民币的融资，我们的通道是通畅的所以总的来说的话呢，我们不认为这个会是一个这个会在 cash 方面的话我们不觉得这个对整个公司来说会有一个大的问题但是我们当然还是会去做一些更细致的这样的一些经营的管理。
Thank you for your question, Nick. Regarding the dynamic and the fluid market situation, we understand it's important for us to control the risk and to keep the stable and sound business operations. For the Alpes brand, basically the project is moving forward according to our plan. For the production side, we believe the current production capacity is sufficient to support the needs of Nio brand and Alpes brand. So it means that in terms of production facilities and capacities, there's no need for big capex investment. In the market front, we believe starting from this year, we should have sufficient power swap stations to support both brands to share the power swap stations. Previously, we mentioned that probably for the go-to market of Alpes brand, we do need to make some investment in terms of capex and opex, but we would like to control the pace of the go-to market cadence to make sure we can have a much faster movement and cadence and have a much agile mode to operate the go-to market of the Alpes brand. So this can help us to save the resources and the capital. In terms of the cash management, of course, as a publicly listed company, we need to be very prudent in terms of the cash management. For the financing channels, we do have different channels in terms of the RMB and the US dollar capital markets. So for us, we think cash is not going to be a big issue for the company, but at the same time, we still need to make a refined management of our cash and also the working capital of the company.
好的，谢谢。我第二个问题也比较简单，就想问请教一下这 long term 的未来一年这个 GP margin 的 trend。刚提到说5566月销应该能够有机会在下半年以后能够月销过2万。那我想知道说556这个上量的车型，在我们的规划里面，它的应该是占我们的平均的 monthly 的 sales volume 是大概占比是多高？那同时间5566它的这个GP margin 跟其他比较高端的车型，那这个差距大概差距大概有多少？然后应该就是说我们怎么去预期这个，或是评判这个未来的中长期的 GP margin？ 因为刚刚提到说四季度在15%，那假如我们进入2024年的话，我们应该怎么去 forecast 这个会评判这个 GP margin？My second question is really simple, really about the product mix. The new product AlphaStreet is going to account for a meaningful portion of the volume, and how should we think about the contribution from this four major model, and how should we think about the product mix going forward? Thanks.
Hi, Nick. Regarding the volume percentage of 85 touring, ES6 and ET6, I think from a long run, the percentage will be 80% around. But from the long run, as I mentioned earlier, this year I think with all the NT2 product launched, our gross profit margin can recover to 15%, and long term considering the cost advantage brought by the in-house technology capability and also the innovative supply chain development, the NT2 product gross profit margin target will still be 20% from a long run. Yeah, thank you.
好的，谢谢。
Thank you. Your next question comes from Paul Gong from UBS. Please go ahead.
谢谢各位接受我的问题哈。我的第一个问题来说的话，就是其实最近所投放的几款车吧，不管是那个 ET7 还是ET5，其实都有一点高开低走的这么个现象，就不知道从管理层这样来看的话，就这是什么样的原因？然后我们 ES6 会不会也面临同样的一种风险？So my first question is regarding the new model sales trends. It seems that a few recent new models all share a little similarity with strong starts, but after a few months it subsequently declines. Does our ES6 also face such kind of challenges, or how shall we avoid this happening again?
Yeah. 谢谢 Paul。谢谢 Paul。确实，我们去年发的3款车，ET7、ES7 和 ET5， 那么进入到今年的话呢，近期吧，特别是到了2季度，那么整个的市场表现确实是有一些和我们预期是有一些差距。那我其实前面也讲了，因为我们现在这些车的价格都并没有去做调整，那么相对和去年相比的话，因为我们首批购车的用户也有很多的这个购车的权益啊，包括一些补贴。那我们事实上来讲，今年我们事实上从一个事实上的角度来讲的话，其实是涨了不少价。那另外一方面的话呢，平均来说差不多涨了小2万块钱，1万到2万之间吧。那另外一方面来讲的话呢，确实这个市场的竞争也是非常激烈啊。今年整个包括大的环境啊，我们所在的这个目标市场的这个竞争啊也非常的激烈啊。那导致这个也是我们有一批的用户也是肯定会因为这个竞争去流向了一些竞争的车型啊，也包括包括传统的品牌，也包括新的一些品牌，这个竞争肯定是更加激烈了啊。那么当然也有一些内部竞争关系，比如说有一些原来的 ES7 的用户，那么他们可能会流向 ES6 啊，包括有一些ET5 的用户可能会等待我们 ET5 的 Touring 版啊等等吧，这个都是一些都是比较真实的一些情况。所以那么我们现在也当然针对这样的情况会有一些针对性的调整和措施啊，近期我们也会在渠道啊，在这个组织架构啊，在这个营销的策略方面也会进行一些针对性的调整。
Thank you, Paul, for your question. Last year, we launched 3 products, ET7, ES7, and ET5. To be honest, in terms of the recent performance of these 3 products, including the second quarter, we understand that the market performance of these 3 products is lagging behind of our expectations. If we look at the factors that are affecting the performance of these 3 products, just like I mentioned before, last year for the users that purchase those 3 products, they have more user rights and benefits, and they can enjoy the national subsidies. But this year, for the users purchasing these 3 products, apple-to-apple comparison, the cost increase is around 10,000 to 20,000 RMB. So at the same time, if we look at the micro environment, we can see the market competition is also getting intensified. So some users are choosing probably some other new brands or some traditional brands over products. This is one factor, and another factor is internal cannibalization or competition. For example, some ES7 users may decide to choose ES6 instead of the ES7, and for some ET5 users, probably they decided to wait a little bit for the ET5 Touring. This is the situation that we're facing right now. That is why we decided probably we're going to make some adjustment in the near term in terms of our sales channel and network, as well as our organization structure and our sales and marketing strategy and policies.
那当然，我觉得今年我们新上的一些 NT2 的车，我们倒不认为我们完全没有这样的担心啊。从目前的情况来看的话，比如说我们今年是第一辆交的是 EC7 啊，那我们交付完了以后，它的需求还是非常的稳定的啊。那么当然我们 ES6 啊，从目前来讲的话，我们对它后边的表现还是非常有信心的啊。所以总的来说，今年的这样的一些新的这样的一些车型，我们的信心都非常高啊，包括 ES8 啊，其实 ES8 最近我们近期我们会交付，但我们最近的这些预订单的数量应该说是远超过我们自己的预期啊。那么所以总的来说，我们觉得这个外部的一些干扰因素其实比去年是要少了很多啊。那包括新车上市的一些质量、节奏，应该说是更加在一个平稳的状态下去做这些事情。所以总的来说，我们的信心度是觉得今年我们交付的这5款新车会有正常的一个节奏。当然像 ET7 啊，我们今年也做了一个2023款啊，我们其实开始交付了以后，表现也是达到了我们的预期的。所以总的来说，我们相信这个今年的这些产品的节奏会更好一些。
But for the 5 new products based on the new technology platform 2.0 that we launched this year, we do not have this concern. The first product we launched this year is EC7. After the delivery of EC7, we can see the demand is actually quite stable. As for the ES6, just now I have mentioned that we are very confident about the sales performance of ES6 after the product ramp up. And then for this year, we are very confident of our speaking for all the new products that we launched this year, including the ES8. We are about to start the delivery of the ES8 in the near term, and currently we can see that the reservation order performance is actually higher than our expectations. We believe right now the current pace of our product quality and the product go-to-market is actually much better than before. So we believe for these 5 new products based on the NT2 technology platform should be able to reach reasonable performance in terms of its delivery ramp up. And recently we have also launched the 2023 ET7. After the delivery of ET7, we believe it can also meet our expectations, and the order performance is also quite stable.
Thank you, Paul.
谢谢。那我第二个问题来说的话是那个高价产品和低价高价品牌和低价品牌的一个区别，就是应该说未来现在因为品牌和这个服务的优秀，还是有一定的这个定价权的。就从早期的时候ES6 跟 Model Y 差不多的价格，到现在其实是要贵整整10万但是在这种定价上面的话，不管是从毛利率还是经营利润率实话实说还是没有达到一种很理想的一种状态。那我们在推出阿尔卑斯之后的话，那个价格的环境还包括它所在的一个板块，应该说是这压力还会更大。就如果我们在卖着昂贵的产品的时候，这个毛利率和经营利润率都像这个样子的话，我们怎么样展望阿尔卑斯这个品牌所带来的一个利润率呢？谢谢。
对，其实现在整个品牌在电动车这一部分。
Sorry, I forget to translate. So my second question is regarding the margin outlook of the high-end Nio brands versus the low-end AlphaStreet brands. Nio brands remains to be relatively expensive thanks to the branding and the excellent service the company has been offering, but yet to achieve an satisfactory or kind of like excellent margins. So when you are moving towards the AlphaStreet to the relatively lower end, how do you foresee the margin would be like, especially compared to the high-end one? Thank you.
对，其实现在如果去看的话呢， 现在确实还在一个品牌的一个这个混沌期吧，就现在在用户在选这个目前还是按照价格去选啊，所以品牌比如说我们的产品的先进性，我们服务的这样的一个体验的这样一个领先性，包括我们产品服务社区这样的一些整个体系的这样一个全程体验的这样一个体验嘛，我觉得可能还没办法反映成为一个这个产品的价格，就是说价值还没有办法反映成为价格，这个其实是现在在一个当下的一个这是一个 reality 啊。但我觉得长期来讲的话呢，最终还是会回归这个价值的，我们这个当然还是会有信心的。那么产品和服务的价值长期来说肯定还是会被用户认可的。如果去看的话呢，当然也有一些外部因素了，比如说这个锂价啊等等这样的一些这个变动啊，也影响了一些我们的毛利率啊。如果去看的话，我们在2021年的时候，当然我们是可以达到20多的毛利率的啊。这个其实对我们来说也并不是一个没有实现的事情。如果锂价现在回到一个理性的水平，我们当然并不是要实现20的毛利率，也并不是一个那么难的事情啊。所以比较公平的去看这个事情的话，那长期来讲，当然随着规模、随着管理的效率、随着我们在一些关键的这样的一些部件方面的一个这个垂直整合和自研的这样的一些进展，我们当然觉得超过20到20，我们实现25的毛利率当然是有很现实的基础的。那么从阿尔卑斯的角度来讲呢，它当然会不太一样啊，它可能就是围绕着它的价格区间去找一个最优解啊。那我们当然也看到了有一些公司可以在一个20多的这个20多万的价格能做出20多的毛利，我不认为这中间有什么诀窍，更多的还是产品定义方面的一些问题。那当然，如果你像 Nio 这样所有的这个1000多 T 的算力，这个30多个传感器都是标配的，这个成本就在那，你是神仙你也没办法把这个成本降下来。所以我们还是关键是要把这个价值让用户能够感知到，这是我们一个主要的任务。从阿尔卑斯的角度来讲的话，我们一点都不担心它毛利率的情况，因为我们非常清楚它的产品定义是怎么去定义的。从 Nio 来讲的话呢，我们就是按照这个价格去定义的这个我们的产品，所以它实现它的毛利当然会有一些时间的，但我们总的来说，我们不觉得这是一个不可能的事。
Thank you for your question. Regarding the brand positioning, I believe right now is a very chaotic period for the brand positioning. For the users, for most of the users, in the majority of the times, they choose a product based on the price. So right now, in terms of our product, of our service, as well as of our technology and experience, so we believe we are much better than others in those different areas. But the values of our product and services and the technologies are not reflected in the perceived value and the price of the products. This is the reality that we're facing right now, but we believe for the long run, the value of our product and services will be recognized by the users and by the market. At the same time, we do face some challenges in the micro environment. For example, the lithium carbonate cost has significantly impacted our vehicle gross margin. Back in 2021, we have reached around 20% vehicle gross margin. At that time, we believe if the lithium carbonate cost goes back to a reasonable level, we should still have a chance to reach 20% of vehicle gross margin. In the long term, we believe in terms of the economies of scale and the efficiency improvement, as well as the vertical integration of our core components and the in-house R&D capabilities. There's a strong base for us to achieve a 20% vehicle gross margin. That's for Nio, but for Alpha, the strategy is very different because we believe that in terms of the vehicle's gross margin, it's actually more about how you define the product and how you design the product. So for Alpha, it's more about finding the best solution in the specific segment that the Alpha brand targets at. For us, if we look at the market, we see some companies that they sell the product at a price of around 200,000 RMB, but they can still achieve over 20% vehicle gross margin. So it shows that this is achievable. For Nio, because we have many high specs configurations in our product, for example, the over 1,000 TOPS computing powers and all those smart features, it will be very difficult for us to lower the cost on those components, and this will affect us in terms of lowering the price of our products. But for Alps, it's different. When we define Alps as products, of course, the target for us is to achieve reasonable vehicle gross margin, and we believe that it is reasonable and is possible for us to achieve the 20% vehicle gross margin.
Thank you so much, William, for your kind sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Jing Zhang from CICC. Please go ahead.
谢谢管理层的分享。我这边跟进两个问题，就是分别是关于 NOP Plus 智驾，然后以及我们的换电站。那因为时间比较有限，我这边直接就是英文阐述问题了。My first question is about our NOP Plus. Our NOP Plus beta version has been open for trial for several months. So can you share some users data such as usage time or accumulated mileage or average takeover mileage during this period, and how is their feedback? And we can see the official version will be charged for subscription. So can you share more of your understanding of subscription charge? And also, in the second half of this year, we can see that highway navigation function to swapping station will be further launched. So what do we think of the improvement of customers' experience with this new function? And last one is there any time plan for our city NOA function in the second half year?
Yeah. 我来回答那个 NOP 相关的问题 ，Steven 你回答一下那个换电的事情。那么我们现在这个 NOP 这个 Plus 我们是已经这个已经有5万多用户在使用，那么已经总共的这个使用里程已经超过了4100万公里啊，每周还有超过200万公里的这个使用吧。应该说这个它的表现还是非常的好的。我们这个已经在测试啊，已经开始在测试我们的城区的一些领航辅助的功能啊。那我们在当然它会有这个城区的这个应用的场景。那我们在今年合适的时候也会进行更多的这个城市的测试啊，开放给用户。那么整个反馈，我们目前自己的评估的话呢，我们觉得还是对它的体验还是非常有信心的。当然，在远的将来，我们在法规还有各方面都允许的情况下，我们也会测试和推出我们的 NAD 的这个服务啊。所以整个来说，这方面我们按照我们的这个技术路线都在往前推进。
Thank you for your question. I will answer the NOP Plus related question, and Steven is going to address the question about the power swap stations. For the NOP Plus, right now we have over 50,000 users using the NOP Plus services. And for us, the accumulated mileage of the NOP Plus is over 41 million kilometers. And every week, the mileage is around 2 million kilometers. We have already started the test of the NOP Plus in the city scenarios and use cases. This year, we're going to accelerate the test of the NOP Plus in the city use cases or the urban use cases. We will also, when it gets ready, we will also release this feature to the users. Based on our internal evaluation right now, we are very confident regarding the performance of the NOP Plus in the urban scenarios. At the same time, regarding the NAD, we're also doing some tests, and if in the future the regulations and the laws are in the right place for the NOP Plus release, then we will release the NAD for our users when the regulations is in the right place, and we believe that this probably right now all the R&D of our NOP Plus and NAD is basically on track and according to our schedule.
好的，谢谢。那我的第二个问题是关于那个换电站。My second question is about the battery swapping station. We can see that you have gotten nearly 1,500 stations at present. Now, and nearly we can see 200 stations has been added since this year. So have you seen that the denser of our battery swapping stations network has been built and is quite good for our sales of our new models, especially for our penetration of lower tier cities?
Chinese, this is Steven. I think the short answer is a very clear yes. We have seen a very clear flywheel effect between the power swap station network and our sales growth. As just mentioned, we have already deployed 1,500 power swap stations across China, and at the end of this year, the number of power swap stations will rise to around 2,400. And every day we offer around 60 to 70,000 times of power source to our users. So in average, every day, one power swap station offers 40 to 50 times of power swaps to our users. So that means, on one hand, our users rely on power swap station as their favorite charging method. On the other hand, the power swap stations are very efficiently utilized. So that's why we see a clear flywheel effect, and that's why we're very determined to accelerate our power swap station deployment. And also, we're very confident that more power swap stations will lead to more sales growth. And actually, in the Yangtze Delta River and some tier 1 cities, we have seen that after the charging experience improves, our sales volume also grows. So that's why we are very confident that with more and more power swap stations penetrate into the low-tier cities, naturally, Nio sales will lead to a very strong momentum or a solid growth in the low-tier cities. Last but not least, I think looking forward, as more and more OEMs seriously look at power swap stations as in a more or less standard way, the power swap stations will become a more and more convenient way for more and more EV users.
好的，谢谢 Steven。
Thank you.
Steven 分享，这个没有问题。
Thank you. Your next question comes from Vijay Rakesh from Mizuho Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Just a quick question. Given some of the new ramps to the 5-year models and looks like you're getting good response on it, would you expect second half or even third quarter production run rates to get to the 20,000 per month on average? And just wondering what the expectation is on second half to first half deliveries.
谢谢。我觉得从我们来讲的话，我们下半年每个月超过2万台，当然是我们的一个目标啊。我们认为我们是非常有信心完成这个。谢谢。
Thank you, Vijay, for your question. Of course, for us, the target for the second quarter of this year is to deliver over 20,000 units every month, and we are very confident to achieve this target.
Got it. And just one other question. As you look at some of the subsidies, if you look at some of the subsidies moving to tier 2 cities, is that a near term? Could that be a challenge for Nio Q1? You don't have enough swap stations, etc., on the tier 2 cities, etc. Thanks, Shishay.
我们这个今年我们会部署这个1000座换电站，当然有这个大部分是在高速啊，当然我们还有其他的很多会部署到一些 Tier 3、Tier 4的 city 去。我们觉得这些对销量的推动会是非常直接的啊。那么我们目前我们已经开始在提速啊，那么从这个5月份开，从5月份开始我们已经在部署3代站，从4月份开始吧，5月份我们开始在提速。6月份的话呢，我们希望能够这个部署这个接近100座换电站，那后续的这个速度会越来越快，这些当然会反映到我们对销量的提升上。
This year, our target is to deploy 1,000 additional power swap stations, and for majority of those power swap stations will be deployed on the highways, and some of them will be installed in the Tier 3 and the Tier 4 cities. We believe that this is going to directly boost the sales performance of our products. Actually, in April, we started the deployment of the Power Swap Station 3.0, and we accelerated the deployment in May. In June, we believe we're going to deploy around 100 Power Swap Station 3.0, and we believe gradually from now on, we're going to speed up the deployment of the Power Swap Stations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you. As there are no further questions at this time, I'll now like to turn the call back to the company for closing remarks.
Thank you once again for joining us today. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact the Nio's Investor Relations team through the contact information provided on our website. This concludes the conference call. You may now disconnect your line. Thank you.